For today's video for Oracular Fantastical, we're going to be working with card 32, Artemis of the Forest. For both decks, the Australian and the American editions, the image is the same. The title of the card is the same, Artemis of the Forest. The tagline, "Now you are independent and free," is the same. As I just said, it's card number 32. So in numerology, that would condense down to the number 5. In tarot, that would be the Hierophant, which we know is talking a lot about questioning and deciding if we're going to follow our own path or follow the path that we've been told to follow. It's also about honoring the teacher within us, the keeper of the wisdom within ourselves as well. So this is a really powerful card. And there are some interesting things that occurred this morning that make this card for today even stronger of a message for us. I was starting to put together materials to send off for the winner of the giveaway, and I ended up deciding to give a small purse that has the image of a deer on the purse, and I was zipping some stones into the little purse. And I won't show the purse because I want the winner to be surprised when she sees it. But, so that had a deer on it. So I was already, okay, thinking about deer a little bit. And then Vincent took his nap this morning, and I was starting to prepare for this, to make this video. And, just kind of connecting with Spirit and with Pachamama, and just asking that I draw the card that was best for all of us to experience together today. And I looked up out this picture window, and I literally just finished my prayer. I hadn't even touched the deck yet. And there were 3 deer right outside this window. One of them was in the driveway, which the driveway was right outside this window, and she was grazing. And then there were 2 deer right behind her in the neighbor's yard in the wetlands grazing as well, like right there. So, hold on one second. So then the other 2 were right behind her over the stone wall grazing as well. And I was able to stand and watch them for about 5 minutes, like literally 5 minutes. And as they were grazing right in front of me, and I was standing like right there in the window, was able to watch them until finally a car drove by and spooked them. And then they just moved into the backyard, and they were grazing by the stone wall in the backyard out there. So really, really powerful deer medicine that ended up showing up this morning. And so that led me to draw Artemis of the Forest. And I did make the choice of card this morning because I feel like there are 2 really strong messengers right now, and that's Artemis and deer herself. And Vincent is going to be contributing to the conversation as well because he's up from his nap. So Artemis has been kind of floating around here a lot for the past 2 weeks. I've drawn her quite a bit in my Goddesses and Sirens deck for myself and for other people, and her message in there is individuation. And she's shown up for several of my clients as well, which has been really interesting. And then I've also been really, really drawn. Just 1 second. I'm just going to give him his toy back. There you go, sweetheart. I've been really, really drawn to Isabel from Tori Amos's 2007 album, American Doll Posse. And Isabel holds the archetype of Artemis. And in that case, it's really about documentation and about experience and being completely present to situations. And also really honoring and keeping the old ways. So that's been really powerful with Artemis. And then now I've had a friend who's been seeing deer like crazy, and she's been sharing that with me. And now I've had my own very, very beautiful experience with deer this morning. And deer's message, and I've drawn 3 other deer cards just to kind of share with you. This is from the medicine cards. This is from the Animal Wise Tarot. This is from Power Animal Oracle deck. So deer's message has really been, and I felt this really strongly this morning, again, about honoring the old ways, trusting your gut instinct, relying on your own internal warning system, an internal system of wisdom and knowledge for the next best step for you to take and for what's actually occurring in your environment. So Deer is also sharing with us, especially through these 3 other cards this morning, that it's important to be in a space of gentleness and love with yourself, also with others, to know that you're in a time of change, and to honor the fact that this is a cycle of change. So this is an experience of change. It's not just a rapid change and then you go back to who you are. This is actually a complete, total transformation and complete change in your life. And so this does take time. And it's important to be gentle with yourself as you experience the change of this time. So that is really deep medicine that Deer is sharing with us this morning. And in Artemis of the Forest, the written meaning has a lot to do with unplugging from the internet, from TV, from the phone, from everything that keeps us thinking that we need so much in order to have our real life. And to realize that we actually need very little to survive and be happy. And so it's about paring down and really taking time for yourself. Artemis, going back to that other meaning in the Goddesses and Sirens deck of individuation, of being yourself, and the aspect of Isabel with American Doll Posse, the aspect of being the observer and just allowing yourself to observe the situation. And Deer kind of giving that message too, paying attention to what's actually really going on. So the card Artemis of the Forest in the Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck is really quite a layered message and really quite a deep message as well, because there are aspects to the card. There are things that each time you work with the card, you're focusing on a different aspect. And I really feel like for today, the aspect is the Deer aspect of the Artemis of the Forest card, about being aware, being gentle, realizing that you're stepping into a new cycle of change, especially with the cards that we've shared over the last few weeks with the Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck, about stepping out of a space of wounding and being in a victim space, and actually becoming empowered, realizing who we truly are, allowing ourselves to truly be that, and now experiencing the change that happens because we've stepped into a new space and we've stepped out of an old space completely. We've shed that layer of skin. We're not dwelling on that area. We're not spending any more time in this physical life in that space that hasn't served us. So really letting you know that big change is occurring, and to allow yourself to be very fluid with that change by being aware and being, I just want to make sure I'm thinking of the right word, being, not regenerated, but I guess rejuvenated would be the right word, by time on our own, and honoring that we need that space and we need to be unplugged while we're having that space, not receiving messages from other people and you need to handle this right now and here's this thing to look at and have you seen this new show, and no, we're letting go of all of that and we're just being in our experience of ourselves in our life. So I think that these are really, really, really powerful, and I know that that's a word I've been using a lot lately, but I think it really applies to this time of where we are on the wheel and where we are physically, that this is a really powerful time, and it's a time where if we allow, we're going to experience great and cathartic change in our lives, and really be able to successfully peel away what's not serving and instead live a life where we are actually following the hero's journey and finding our own bliss. And I wish that for us all, and I know that we're all on that journey together, and so it's really beautiful that Artemis of the Forest has shown up today to let us know that it's all happening, it's all occurring, it's all out there, and we just have to flow with it to experience it and really be present. So I just want to show the image again of Artemis of the Forest. I just feel so honored that Deer showed up for us all this morning, and that we have an added layer to the Artemis of the Forest card now as we're working with her, beyond just the written meaning. And that's what really card work as more than just a party tool. That's really what card work is sharing with us, is that yes, the given meanings are very helpful, but that's not what actually working with the deck in your life is about. It's actually about the different meanings that show up for you and the experiences that you actually have with the card. So today we've been able to have an experience with this card that's really been about the actual physical presence of a spirit guide for us at this time, which would be Deer. So I hope that you're all able to carry Deer with you throughout the day today and be in touch with her magic and her mystery and allow yourself to communicate with her, and then follow really the message of Artemis of the Forest, which is to unplug and to really just be ourselves and realize that we don't need so much in order to be truly happy and in a state of bliss. So I thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.